At the dawn of the automobile age in the early 20th century, hundreds of small auto companies sprouted up across America as entrepreneurs recognized that society was transitioning from horse-drawn carriages to transportation powered by the internal combustion engine. Some of these early companies grew to become giants that are still with us today, such as Ford and Chevrolet. Many others remain small, struggling to compete against the assembly lines of the larger manufacturers. One such company was C.R. Patterson and Sons of Greenfield, Ohio, the makers of the Patterson-Greenfield automobile, produced between 1915 and 1918. While its name may not be widely recognized today, it holds a powerful place in history as the only African-American owned and operated automobile company, a legacy that must never be forgotten. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share this video with your friends, family, and anyone who deserves to know the truth. Let's spread this knowledge far and wide because history like this was never meant to stay hidden. Now, without further ado, let's dive in. Charles Richard Patterson was born into slavery in 1833 as the first of 13 children to Charles and Nancy Patterson in Virginia. Not much is known about his life on the plantation, and historians have to sift through conflicting reports about how he came to settle in Greenfield, Ohio, a town with strong abolitionist sympathies thanks to Reverend Samuel Crothers, the founder of the town's First Presbyterian Church. With First Presbyterian, Crothers established one of Ohio's and the nation's earliest abolition societies in 1833. And before long, Greenfield became a stop on the Underground Railroad and a magnet for black slaves seeking freedom. Here, the Pattersons eventually worked as blacksmiths, a common skilled trade for former slaves during a period when occupations commonly held by white individuals were closed off. By 1864, Patterson had become successful enough to woo and eventually marry Josephine Outes of Greenfield. 6 children followed. Like many blacksmiths, Patterson's career led him to work for local carriage maker Dines and Simpson, where he became foreman, working side by side with white workers and supervising others. But Patterson wanted to start his own business. Looking back, it's easy to perceive that as an impossible goal with insurmountable hurdles given the lack of financing available to aspiring black businessmen and the general prejudice behind many policies of the day. Nevertheless, Patterson ultimately partnered with J.P. Lowe, a white man, and they established J.P. Lowe and Company in 1873. The company soon earned the same reputation Dines and Simpson had enjoyed for constructing high-quality products. Lowe and Company grew a wholesale business supplying carriages to Cincinnati area retailers and other regional customers. As the business grew, so did Patterson's community involvement. In a short while, he became a high-profile and well-respected resident in Greenfield. Patterson, in addition to working as a foreman, where he developed a reputation for overseeing the production of high-quality products, was also a trustee of the Greenfield African Methodist Episcopal Church in 1880, where he also taught Sunday school. When his son was denied admission to an all-white secondary school in the area, he filed a lawsuit against the local Board of Education, a case which he won. Known for quality work and fine craftsmanship, the business. J.P. Lowe and Amp Company thrived employing an integrated workforce of 10 people by 1888, a sizable number for small businesses at the time. By the turn of the century, the workforce had increased to around 35 to 50 persons. Soon, Charles Patterson became a prominent and respected citizen in Greenfield. His catalog listed some 28 models, from simple open buggies to larger and more expensive closed carriages for doctors and other professionals. Patterson earned 3 utility patents, 2 of which were related to carriages. One such patent, granted in 1887, was for a thill coupling device. Thills are long wooden shafts that extend forward on either side of a horse and are attached to a harness just behind the horse's front legs, helping it to pull a wagon or carriage more easily. Patterson's thill couplings connected the ends of the thills to the front wheel axle and featured a novel, adjustable, shaped spring that functioned as a shock absorber. Despite the company's notable success, in January 1893, the overextension and failure of some of the country's largest companies, such as the Philadelphia and Reading Railroad Co., ignited a panic and ensuing economic crisis, commonly known as the Panic of 1893. The Depression lasted 4 years and saw stock prices plummet and unemployment skyrocket across the country, reaching as high as 25%. Patterson, seeking to start his own company, used the opportunity to buy out Lowe's shares and became the sole proprietor of the company, renaming it C.R. Patterson, Son & Co., in collaboration with his youngest son, Samuel, who later fell ill in 1897 and would pass away in 1889. This act was one which was virtually unheard of at the time for a black man. Patterson ran a successful business, producing 28 different horse-drawn carriage styles and approximately 500 horse-drawn carriages per year, as well as employing an integrated workforce of 35 to 50 craftsmen. Among C.R. Patterson's Son & Co., most popular offerings were horse-drawn school buggies and buggies designed for winter or stormy weather, which featured a door design similar to the sliding doors often found on today's vans. Instead of putting the rails on the outside of the doors, as was common for carriages at the time, Patterson's Son & Co. placed the rails on the inside, sheltering them from sleet and snow and preventing ice from jamming the doors. The company also built wedding carriages, hearses, and wagons designed for mail and other deliveries. C.R. Patterson's Son & Co. advertised heavily in both statewide and nationwide publications, often targeting specific audiences, such as physicians who needed reliable carriages for making frequent house calls. The company regularly placed advertisements in the Journal of the National Medical Association, which had been formed by black physicians in response to their exclusion from white medical organizations. These ads emphasized the fact that C.R. Patterson's Son & Co. was a black-owned company. By 1900, C.R. Patterson's Son & Co. had grown so much that in addition to its customized carriage production, it also began batch production. Twice a year, C.R. Patterson's Son & Co. mailed a catalog with images and details of their standard designs, each of which could be adapted to meet customers' needs. In 1901, the report of the Second Annual Convention of the National Negro Business League noted the company's successful rebound from the economic depression that had begun in 1893. In his speech at the convention, Patterson said the company was eclipsing pre-depression sales, had made additions to its plant, and was producing 400 to 600 finished vehicles per year.
While this by no means compares in magnitude with the large carriage concerns of the country, you will please observe that when it comes to a comparison with builders of strictly high-grade work, it shows up fairly well.
After Charles Richard Patterson's death in 1910, Frederick Douglass, Charles Patterson's eldest son, left his teaching position in Louisville, Kentucky, to take over Samuel's role. At this point, the company was renamed C.R. Patterson & Sons Co. He was college educated and was the first black athlete to play football for Ohio State University. He was also an early member and vice president of the National Negro Business League, founded by Booker T. Washington. Now, as owner and operator of the enterprise his father started, Frederick Patterson began to see the handwriting on the wall. The days of carriages and horse-drawn buggies were nearing an end. At first, the company offered repair and restoration services for the horseless carriages that were beginning to proliferate on the streets of Greenfield. No doubt this gave workers the opportunity to gain some hands-on knowledge about these noisy, smoky, and often unreliable contraptions. Like his father, Frederick was a strong believer in advertising and placed his first ad for auto repair services in the local paper in 1913. Initially, the work mostly involved repainting bodies and reupholstering interiors, but as the shop gained more experience with engines and drivetrains, they began to offer sophisticated upgrades and improvements to electrical and mechanical systems as well. This valuable experience allowed C.R. Patterson & Sons to take the next great step in its own story as well as in African American history. In 1915, it announced the availability of the Patterson-Greenfield automobile at a price of $685. From the company's publicity efforts, it is evident they were bursting with pride, as it is obvious in most of their ads.
Our car is made with three distinct purposes in mind. First, it is not intended for a large car. It is designed to take the place originally held by the Surrey family. It is a 5-passenger vehicle, ample and luxurious. Secondly, it is intended to meet the requirements of that class of users who, though perfectly able to spend twice the amount, yet feel that a machine should not engross a disproportionate share of expenditure, and especially it should not do so to the exclusion of proper provisions for home and home comfort and the travel of varied other pleasurable and beneficial entertainment. It is a sensibly priced car. Thirdly, it is designed to include flawlessly every conceivable convenience and luxury known to car manufacturers. There is absolutely nothing shoddy, skimpy, or stingy about it.
Orders began to come in, and soon, C.R. Patterson & Sons officially entered the ranks of American auto manufacturers. Over the years, several models of coupes and sedans were offered, including a stylish Red Devil Speedster. Ads featured the car's 30 HP Continental 4-cylinder engine, full floating rear axle, cantilever springs, electric starting and lighting, and a split windshield for ventilation. The build quality of the Patterson-Greenfield automobile was as highly regarded as it had been with their carriages. The initial hope and optimism, however, proved to be fairly short-lived. In an age of increased mechanization and production lines, small independent shops featuring hand-built, high-quality products weren't able to scale up production or compete on price against the rapidly growing car companies out of Detroit. In small quantities, parts and supplies were expensive and hard to come by when major manufacturers were buying them by the trainload at greatly reduced costs. Plus, the labor hours per car were much higher than that of assembly line manufacturers. As a result, the profit margin on each Patterson-Greenfield was low. In 1918, having built by some estimates between 30 and 150 vehicles, C.R. Patterson & Sons halted auto production and concentrated once again on the repair side of the business, but they weren't done yet. In the 1920s, the company was renamed Greenfield Bus Body Company as it had begun building truck and bus bodies to be mounted on chassis produced by other manufacturers. It was in a sense a return to their original skills in building carriage bodies without engines and drivetrains, and for a period of time, the company was quite profitable. Then, in 1929, the stock market crashed and the Great Depression set in. As with many small businesses, sales dried up and loans were hard to obtain. The company, now run by the sons of Frederick Patterson, soldiered on. Until 1939, when, after 74 years, C.R. Patterson & Sons closed its doors forever. Sadly, no Patterson-Greenfield automobiles are known to survive today. But we should not let that dim the fact that two great entrepreneurs, Charles Richard Patterson and his son Frederick Patterson, built and sustained a business that lasted several generations and earned a place not just in African American history, but in automotive history as well. The touching and powerful story of the Patterson-Greenfield automobile is more than that of just a car. It was a symbol of Black excellence, resilience, and innovation in an era when the odds were stacked high against men like C.R. Patterson and his son Fred. Their legacy reminds us that Black history is not just about struggle, it's also about brilliance, vision, and courage that reshape the road ahead, literally and figuratively. Thanks for staying with us till the end of this video segment. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe to stay tuned in for more eye-opening videos on Black resilience and excellence. See you in our next video.